Hello, everybody. How are you? This is Cheryl Abram, and this is Person-Centered Cyber. Here in the background, you see Dr. Phillips, who's going to chime in every now and then. Okay, now let me get my life together here. So, y'all, I know I scheduled this for 11 this morning, okay, but I woke up at 1 o'clock this afternoon. So I had to, of course, reschedule it. So I apologize for having to reschedule this, but sister was tired. Okay. All right. So I'm very excited about this topic about the mediocre CISO. Now, don't come for me, okay? Because I know that many of you, and now let me just say, I'm not talking about anybody in particular here, okay? This is not about any, particular CISO. This is just a result of some of the research that I've done that I'm going to talk to you about, and you know, observations that I've made, conversations that I've heard, things that I've read. It's all come together in this video. Okay, so let me just get that out of the way. This is not about a particular CISO or leader that I am speaking about. Although the stuff I say today may sound familiar to you because you may have worked with a person like this, okay? All right, now I had to create an outline because y'all know I'll be all over the place, so I need to make sure I have all my overlays and stuff arranged. So let me come over here first. So I can do a little, is it the brand one? Okay, here we go. Let me do this first, all right? So I want to remind you guys about my Teespring store, ypifany.creator-spring. If you're on Instagram or Twitter, you saw that I posted some pictures on there with individuals wearing some of this merchandise. And I have too. I've come on and I've showed you some of the shirts and stuff. So please go over to the Teespring store and get some amazing radical cybersecurity t-shirts. Okay. What is the next one? So also I wanted to show you here. Oh Lord, my face is in the way. Just remind you guys of, I have 3 tiers on my Patreon. Now, only one is related to cybersecurity specifically, okay? But the other one is for my non-dual work. I hate calling it that, but I don't have another word for it right now. But that's what it is, okay? And y'all hear that stuff on this channel, okay? So you know that most of the stuff I talk about comes from that perspective, okay? So this tier is just about getting more into that perspective, which you're going to hear more about tonight. And it, is how I was able to come up with a lot of these ideas, okay? So just so you all know that that's there, okay? All right, so let's get into it. Now, I told you all on another video that I was creating an application, okay, that's going to be for just regular old people, like anybody. Anybody can use it. But for small businesses, if you have a small business, even a large business, whatever, okay, but it's going to be out there and it's going to be like a GPS for cyberspace. So it's, how we have those attack maps that we can look at that show real time what attacks are happening on different countries. Well, this application is going to be like that. It's going to have that kind of information for individual people, okay, and for entrepreneurs, folks who feel like who are in the digital world, have things of value there, and they want to know, what do I need to do to secure the things that I have, to make good decisions about securing the things that I have. So that's what that application is going to be about. And so the work I'm doing on creating that, helped me to come up with this and other topics that I'm going to be coming up with, okay? So in that work, I've been looking at various theories. Okay, y'all know how we do over here. All right, I'm not just pulling stuff out of the air. All right, I'm actually doing research along with my own ideas. Okay, so I've been looking at a lot of criminological theories, and I've been doing that for a while. So one of those theories that I looked at is called routine activity theory, okay? Routine activity theory. And what that says is, it says crime happens when three things converge in time and space. So what I've been researching, okay, is we know that in the analog world, we know the whole world is analog, right? We have crime. Okay, wherever there's opportunity, there's going to be crime. Okay, well, I wanted to see, do those theories still apply in the digital world? Okay, when it comes to cybercrime, does it still apply there, or do we need to be doing stuff different? Do we need to be thinking differently? Like what is that all about? Okay, so with routine activity theory, this is what it says for the analog world. Okay, three things need to happen in order for crime to occur. You need to have an offender. Okay, you need to have a suitable target. Okay, and then you need to have, and this is the one here, you need to have an absence of a capable guardian to protect the target. This is the only criminological theory where I've actually seen this one, because the other ones, they talk about all the things that the offender would need. They need a target, they need to have value, they need access, you know, all that, right? This one right here, okay, is the one that says in order for a crime to occur, you need, you know, somebody who could actually protect the target cannot be there. They got to be gone. Okay, somebody or something. Okay. Now, in the last video I made called Dear CISO, we talked a little bit about this, and I just need to remind you, because I said that what's happening in cyberspace can be you can compare it to when Christopher Columbus came over and so-called discovered America, okay? You had a bunch of people coming over here who had tools and know-how and all kinds of knowledge and information. And they come here, and the people who are already here, they don't have that. They don't have that knowledge and information and tool. They just don't, okay? And what was missing back then was a suitable guardian to protect them and their rights. They had no, there was nothing in between, you know, them and the people who were coming in to just take over. Okay. And what I said was, what they were missing were people like us, cybersecurity professionals. We are in between these, you know, malicious hackers and everybody else in the digital world. Okay. And we need to fulfill that role. That's what I said. We need to fulfill that role. Well, some of us are not fulfilling that role. Okay. We're not doing it for various reasons. But tonight I'm only talking about CISOs and people in leadership positions, okay, who have lots of influence in organizations when it comes to how security is, number one, seen. Like how do people interpret the security in organizations, okay? And then how it's actually practiced. They have a lot of influence on that, a lot, all right? And many of them are not doing what needs to be done to be number three here, okay? A capable guardian to protect the target, okay? They're very mediocre, I mean, just doing the as little as possible, okay? As much as it takes to not get in trouble with the regulators. That's not gonna work, that's not gonna work. And we see that that's not gonna work, right? Okay. So why do I say, so the issue here is one of ignorance. And I don't mean ignorance in like a, you know, a pejorative way, like we normally would say ignorance, okay? I don't mean like that, not necessarily. I mean, ignorance simply means to ignore, okay? There's something going on, and when you ignore, you're refusing to notice it, okay? Which is weird, right? Because you have to notice it first to ignore it. Do you see what I'm saying? You have to notice it to ignore it. So ignorance is just refusal, okay, to really admit what you see and take in that information and do something with it, all right? So that's what they're mainly, and that leads to the mediocrity that we see. And you can't, and this especially with the way technology changes on the daily, okay, you cannot, mediocrity is not going to do it. You can't just, go with the flow. You're going to have to be innovative. So let me show you this thing right here. This is what I was talking about. Let me show you the 3 things. Okay, here we go. So this is the routine activity theory. These are the things that theory says you need or have to be there in order for a crime to occur. A motivated offender, a target, an absence of capable guardianship. And what we're talking about tonight is that absence of capable guardianship, okay? And it begins with the leaders in the organization. So what does it take? So I'm going to show you now what I mean by ignorance, okay? Ignorance. I have made multiple videos. I think I got like 200 something videos on this channel, okay? Multiple videos about new ways of looking at various things in cybersecurity, okay? New ways of looking at what a vulnerability is. New ways of even defining cybersecurity, a whole nother, hear that? A whole nother, that's one word, a whole nother definition, okay, of cybersecurity, all right? I mean, just multiple things, okay? Now, let me show you how I do that and why I do it, okay? Now, again, this goes back to that everyone deserves an epiphany tier, okay? This is the how I'm able to do that. Now, let me show you this right here. When you see this, when you see what I have here on the screen, 2 times 2, something just naturally comes to mind, okay? Because we're programmed to see a certain thing when we see this. Those of us who know how to multiply, okay? Now, if I said to you, what is another way we can express this? Okay, what's another way we can express 2 by 2? I mean, 2 times 2. Some of us will come up with some stuff, okay? But many of us won't have a whole bunch of ideas. I mean, we won't even go that far, all right? Because all we'll say is, well, 2 times 2 is 4, right? He said 8 minus 4. That's one way, okay? That is one way. I hear my phone, but I don't see it. Oh, here you go. That's one way. But let me show you some other ways that I can almost guarantee it, that you would not come up with because your mind won't even go in that direction. It just won't, okay? Not because you don't know that direction is there, but just because, you're used to doing a certain thing, you don't feel like, it's for, like no matter what. However you arrange the thing is going to still come out to 4. So all that don't matter, and which leads to mediocrity. Okay. Now let me show you here other ways to represent 2 times 2. Look at these ways right here. All of that can represent 2 times 2 and more, limitless. Okay. Some of these are even in the first one is Chinese. You see that? The last one is Arabic. Would you even think of that? No. And the point is here that, hi Ayana, how you doing? The point here, and I tell Ayana, you know this, because the last CTF that I put on the Patreon, okay, I said in there, so I'm gonna put several of them on there, and there's gonna be a cash prize, okay? You get no points for finding the flag, not one, okay, none. No. Find the flag, that's fine, but you get no points for that. I'm looking at how did you get there? And that's what this is about, okay? Yes, all of these, if you add them up, if it's in Chinese, Arabic, you know, Klingon, whatever, it don't matter. Yes, you get to 4. But how did you get there? Okay. This is where you address mediocrity. This is where you stand out from everybody else who gets 4. Okay. Is how in the hell did you get there? All right. And that's what we're going to talk about today, right? This is how you're going to be able to survive ignorant security decisions. Okay. This is how you're going to do it, because you're going to have to be able to do this either in a leadership position or to influence those in leadership positions. Okay, because they used to 2 times 2. That's all they're looking for. Okay, people who could do 2 times 2. Can you do that? Okay, good, fine. All this other stuff right here, that's what they need. 2 times 2 is what they want. But this other stuff, that's what they need if they're going to be able to, as this theory says, be a capable guardian to protect the target. Okay? It's not going to happen any other way. All right, let me get to this next thing here. Okay. Now, I shared with many of you my mural that I used to study for the CAP exam, okay? I'm redoing that mural, I'm updating it, and I'm putting more information about the different parts of the RMF process, okay? Let me go to my other thing here. I don't like how StreamYard has this thing like on different things. That's annoying. Let me see. Let me take that off. Okay. Now, I'm not going to show you the mural, but let me tell you what I'm doing on it, okay? I'm going back through the different steps of the risk management framework, okay? Because those I said in another video, RMF, risk management and project management. CompTIA or somebody needs to come up with some certs for that, okay? Now, they got the project plus, I know that. They need a risk management plus or something, because we need to know that. And we're going into these organizations not knowing that information, okay? So-called trying to, you know, put controls on and secure information systems, having no idea how, you know, how these individuals came up with what these information systems are, what the impact of the information is, you know, how does that even work? None of that stuff, okay? So, and that's important. That's very important. If you are at an organization with an information system that has been categorized as low versus high, okay, and number one, those are different kinds of controls, okay. Do you know that? Like, what's the categorization of the information systems that you're protecting? Do you know? Do you even know? Yeah, some people probably don't, because it's not in the curriculum. Like, it's not in the CompTIA certs or the ISC squared certs or whatever, all these other things that we're trying to do, okay? They don't have that information in there because they feel like you don't need to know it. You know, all you need to know is how to turn the crank. Okay, that's what you're there for. Turn the crank, that's it. That's all you need to know. But it's not. That's not all you need to know, okay? So, and don't let them tell you all you need to know. If you feel like you need to know something else, I need to be able to understand what's going on before this step, okay? Then go ahead and do that. All right. Hey, Professor Black Ops. Classification is it's very big. It's very big. Dr. Phillips says hi. Yeah, it's very big. So, and we don't really get that. You know, we don't really. And I didn't know anything about that stuff until I started taking studying for the CAP. Okay. So I've been doing that. You know, I've been redoing my mural with the RMF stuff on it. And let me show you, and I've also been looking at the MITRE attack and the defend framework, all that stuff. Okay, all this stuff is just coming together. Now let me show you here where I start, where I start with this. There's two things that I want to show you before I actually get to the picture of the matrix. Professor Black Ops says, salute to you, doctor. Okay, let's see here. So the first one is, not that one. It's not in the, it's in the banner. Okay, here in the banner. So I've taken another look at CIA. We know what the CI and the A is, so I added one. Okay, I added an I at the end, meaning influence, okay? Because I did not see where we were really addressing social engineering, which is major when it comes to the different things that can happen that will allow individuals, to get into our systems, unauthorized, okay? Social engineering is big, okay? And I think it has to be separated out, because what it is when you look at the RMF process, all this paperwork that we got to do, okay? Everything is a plan. You got a plan for this and a plan for that and a system plan and this plan and that plan. Everything's a plan, okay? We're planning how we're going to control the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the systems. Those are all plans. So what happens when something that is unplanned occurs? Okay, normally someone has been influenced when it comes to social engineering. Somebody has been influenced in a way that is now making it easier for somebody else to compromise the CIA objectives, okay? We can't sleep on influence. Social engineering just can't be another thing out there, okay? Because it's not just them. It's not just, individuals clicking on links or whatever, okay? You administrators, those of you with privileged access, okay? Y'all are being influenced. CISOs are being influenced to be mediocre, okay? Influence is happening all over the place. So we have to take that out, okay? And address that just like we would address CIA, okay? Professor Black Ops, I love that new defend thing. And I'm gonna show you. So I put it in the new thing that I'm about to show you here, both the defend and the attack framework. And and we're going to see how they're going to work together, okay? But I just wanted to show that incident response playbook, yes. And I said that so one of the things, I'll tell you that when I get there. I'll tell you that when I get there, because I'm working on an incident response thing, but for employees, not the ones that organizations where they have to report to whoever they got to report to, DHS, somebody, when big stuff happens, but like the low level stuff, okay? So CIA, CI.AI, that's what it is. CI.AI is one, and what's the other one? Okay, we're gonna get to this one right here. V.I.V.A. V.I.V.A is gonna come up too in what I'm about to show you, okay? Because these are the things that, in addition to what I just said, research says need to be in place in order for a crime to occur. Now, this is from the offender's perspective. The offender needs to see value. The person breaking into or who's persisting in your network, okay, they have to see value. Like there's a reason to be there, okay? Inertia has to be, so inertia is about, well, how easy is it for me to get in this system compared to what I'm gonna get once I get there, all right? In the analog world, it might be, okay, you're somewhere you're walking in a mall somewhere, okay? And a criminal sees that you have your cell phone hanging out your pocket, all right? That's easy. That's low level inertia. They ain't got to do a whole bunch to get that cell phone, okay? Versus they see you with a what you call them things that you roll with big stuff on it? What do you call that? They see you with a big old 60-inch TV, okay, trying to get it to your car. It's gonna take too much inertia for them to take that thing and try to get away, okay? So they need value, they consider inertia. How hard is it gonna be for me to get into the system? Like, what do I have to do? How many, which is where y'all's defense in depth, but I heard somebody on a recent video call it expense in depth, okay? So whatever you got going on, how long I gotta work, how hard I gotta work to do this compared to my skill, okay? Then visibility. They need to know about what the value, like if you got something valuable, they gotta know it first, all right, that you have something of value there, that you have important information, that you got social security numbers and all this, they need to know that it's there. And then accessibility, right? They need to be able to get to it some kind of way, right? If they're going to compromise the CIA of it or influence it in some way, okay? All right, now let's look at some stuff here. Let's look at some stuff. First, I'm gonna show you the way we typically look at threats, okay? This is top of mind for CISOs, okay? Because it's top of mind for regulators and Congress and, and all these, everybody talking about threats. Everybody is talking about threats, okay? So this is what we typically see when we talk about threats. Oh, let me get that other thing off the screen so y'all can see that. Give me a second, let me get it off the screen. All right, this is what we see. You see the threat there? You got malware, you have an attacker, fire, insider threat, can exploit this vulnerability. Lack of antivirus, poor access control, resulting in this kind of attack. Buffer overflow, virus infection. So what are the risk responses? Normally we avoid it. So we get rid of whatever the program is or whatever. So we don't have to deal with that threat at all. We don't have to deal with the threat of malware. We just ain't gonna have no no software on our system or whatever, or a particular software on our system, okay? Let's just avoid it altogether. Then, or we transfer. We say, you know what, let's just get some cybersecurity insurance and let them take care of that stuff if anything happens, okay? They can manage that, Or we mitigate it. So we want to do something to minimize or modify the size of the size of the probability. We want to bring down the probability, or we want to bring down, if it does happen, how much are we going to be impacted? We want to minimize the potential impact of it, okay? And then, of course, we accept it. We say, you know what? We ain't going to do nothing. We're just going to hope for the best, okay? And we're going to create a contingency plan just in case it happens. All right, that's the normal story that we tell when it comes to threats and threat modeling and, responding to those kinds of things. Okay, if y'all have heard another story other than this, I would be happy to know. But this is normally what we hear, okay? This is mediocrity. That's all you got? Like, for real. Is this all you have? Okay? We can't do nothing else? Let me see. Yes, we can. This is 2 times 2. Okay, everybody sees 2 times 2. That's what this is. What I'm working on over here, okay, is other ways of looking at that. So the top is, now this ain't even a teardrop for what I'm creating, but I didn't want to show y'all all of it, okay? So the top part is the way that I'm modifying this thing, the bottom part. The bottom part is part of what I just showed you, okay? So number one, we're starting with the plans. So I said for RMF, we create 1,000 different plans, okay? We're planning how this thing is going to go so that we can maintain control and influence over confidentiality, integrity, and availability of systems. That's what the plans are for. Okay, we make plans. The next column at the top, these are the conditions necessary for something unplanned to occur. If I've made plans to go someplace, and like this morning, I was supposed to be on at 11:45, I think it was, I said, right? I slept right through that thing and then some, okay? I had a plan that was thwarted, absolutely 100%. So now I'm doing an unplanned video here at 6 something at night. Okay, so I had to change around some stuff and, you know, do all kinds of things so that I can do this now. This is unplanned, all right? We don't want that to happen, or we want to minimize that as much as possible, right? We don't want to have to deal with unplanned stuff. That's why we got a plan, okay? So these are the things that need to happen for an unplanned event to occur. Now, I just told you about V.I.V.A. You see value, inertia, visibility, accessibility. Now, this is from the offender's perspective, okay? These are the things that the offender needs in order to get into your system and do what the hell they want to do, all right? Now, the top, though, is what the business is looking at. So the business is looking at, in order for my plans to be interrupted, the first thing that's going to happen is I need to, number one, have plans, okay, which is the boundary. So there's laws, there's policies, there's my strategy, there's procedures, there's all kind of memos, all kind of things, right, that I have in place as my boundary. Like this is where you can't go any further than this, okay? This system has a boundary, you know, against this system. Everything ain't just mushed together. There are boundaries all over the place. And we're trying to keep things that belong in the boundaries, all right? So I need that first. Then I'm going to need some kind of change agent. I didn't say threat. We're not looking at threats. We're looking at change agent. A change agent is any person, thing, or event that is capable of acting on my system. Anything. That's a change agent, and it's not always a threat, okay? I need a change agent, then I need the change agent to do something. If it's human, if it's a human change agent, I need it to take an action. If it's not human, then there has to be some kind of force behind whatever it is, be it wind or fire or water or whatever, okay? All right, and then the next part is who are these change agents? Now look at the stuff I have here in purple, because normally what I have in black, that's all we be thinking about, okay, human threats. What I have in purple is human opportunities. So human threat is like a malicious threat actor. The capabilities they have, that's what we look at. If you look at the MITRE ATT&CK right here in white to the right of that, I'm all over the place, but y'all need to follow me, okay? Under risk response options, it says MITRE ATT&CK. These are the steps. If you go to the MITRE ATT&CK framework right now, you're going to see reconnaissance, resource development, initial access, execution, persistence. You're going to see all these listed in the MITRE ATT&CK framework, and the things that the adversary does in these various categories to get into your system and find out information and persist and stay there and still all that, okay? You're going to see that. So we know what they're capable of. We got it right here. We got a whole framework about what they're capable of. But what are their limitations? What's that? Because I guarantee you, every single malicious APT, I don't care what the hell they are, they have limitations. Where's the framework of limitations? Where's that one? Okay. What are those things? Because that's what we need to exploit in some way, shape, or fashion. There are limitations, but if you don't know what they are, if you think that these people are Avengers, they're Supermen, they got magical powers and all that shit, you know, you're gonna keep running from them. Okay, if you feel like they have no weaknesses, right? Like Hercules. Remember the cartoon Hercules, Disney Hercules, when Zeus, not Zeus, who's Zeus's brother? Hades. When Hades sent that lady over there to find out what Hercules' weakness was, and she said he has no weaknesses. And Hades looked at her. Her name was Meg. He said, you know what, Meg? I think he does. And it was her. She was his weakness. And he used her to get to Hercules' power. If even Hercules, listen to what I'm telling you, these people have weaknesses, they have limitations, they have vulnerabilities, okay? They got all that the same way we do. But for whatever reason, we're ignoring it. We're acting like they don't. Like all they have is superpowers, okay? We need to investigate what these are. That's why I have what are they as a question after this. Same with authorized and privileged users in organizations, okay? We know that they have the capability to bring the whole house down. We know this. We know it. Okay, and that's why we keep telling them, don't do this, don't do that, don't go here, don't do that. I mean, you know, we got a whole threat, insider threat program. Okay, well, they have limitations too. And I'm not just talking about the access control, okay? They have limitations. What are they? What are those limitations? Same thing for cyber professionals. If there is a cyber professional listening to this video, I'm talking to you, okay? Knowledge failure from I'm not just talking about the cyber professionals, okay, but here I am, but this applies to everybody. Knowledge failure is the absence of the right information or enough information to make the best decision. That's what knowledge failure is, okay? Many of the things that we do during the day are being done from a perspective of knowledge failure. We don't have enough information to actually make this decision, but we do it anyway, okay? We don't have enough information to give this command, but we do it anyway. We don't have enough information to, to decide to go in this direction versus the other one, but we do it anyway, for whatever reason, okay? Knowledge failure is just, it's a thing that just happens, all right? Okay. But what also happens is that people who work in the SOC, people who just got into cybersecurity, people who've been there for a while but may not be in leadership positions, these people have profitable ideas and make profitable decisions if given the chance to do so. Okay, that kind of stuff needs to be, number one, discovered, and number two, exploited. Okay, CISO, hello? It's not just what we're doing that's detrimental or that could have a deleterious effect on the system. What are the capacities that these people have? Okay. Then you have what do we call these people? The connections and stuff. What do they call them in policy? Third-party people. What the hell you call that? Supply chain. That's it. Supply chain. Okay. Now we know they out there doing, whatever they're doing, but they have strengths too. What are your supply chain's strengths? What are those things? Okay. This is what I mean by change agents. A change agent is not just the capabilities that the malicious actor has, but the limitations. Who's going to use their limitations? We do. They use ours. Don't they use our vulnerabilities? Okay, we need to find out what their limitations and vulnerabilities are, so we can do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And that takes much more. I mean, these are preventive type actions. Okay, this takes much more thought. You can't just wait around for MITRE to come up with another framework and do it. No. You're going to have to get somewhere and actually use your capacity to think to come up with some of these ideas. That's why I got question marks over here, because I still got to do this shit, okay? But at least now we have the question. What are the limitations? Okay, if that question wasn't there before, it's there now. What are the limitations? Now, as you go further to the right, you see here, I have in the white there, the MITRE attack, what that process is, and the MITRE defend. So what MITRE has come up with to say, okay, these are the attacks. These are what we have in our pocket for defense mechanisms: harden, detect, isolate, deceive, and evict. I got 5 more for you that I'm not showing right here, okay? But I'm calling it the Abram security. You see how defend has that number 3? The E in security is a number 3 too. There you go. I'm not showing it right here because I'm not done with it, okay? And it's going to be something that goes into the application. But I got 5 more here to add to MITRE defend. I think MITRE defend is great. It's wonderful. But it's not all, because it does not consider the opportunities that I have in purple here to the left, okay? We got to consider those things. If we're going to not be mediocre and be absent, there's no buffer between, you know, lay people in the digital world and cyber criminals. They just out there floundering, getting their stuff stolen and used somewhere else. And where's it? I asked Dr. Phillips, he'll tell you, when I got hacked, what was that, like 2-3 years ago, something like that? I was upset. I was upset. I said, where in the hell? I said, aren't you a cybersecurity professional? What the hell are y'all doing? Okay, why was this person allowed to just be in there? Just take that, they took like $2,000 out of my bank account, then sent me an email laughing about it. I was pissed. You hear me? Pissed. This was before I got into the profession, okay? And I asked him, he was to blame. He didn't even work at Navy Federal. They have a Navy Federal. He was nowhere near there. But I was looking at him because I said, why aren't y'all doing y'all job? Why I got to go through all this stuff? Now I got to cancel stuff and they looking at me all crazy like I'm sending the money to somebody named Louise or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm like, where are y'all? What are y'all doing? Okay. You know, what we're doing is being mediocre. That's what we're doing. Waiting on either the hacker to do something or for somebody else to come up with another regulation telling us what to do. That's what we're doing. Okay. So it's not just the CISOs that are mediocre. It's the network engineers. It's the developers. It's the policy analysts. It's the YouTubers. Okay? All of us got to wake up. Okay? Wake up. And I said this in the last video. Stop getting certifications to get a job. Start getting them so you can do your work. Okay? Because the work, you got a bunch of jobs out there, but ain't no work getting done. Okay, ain't no work getting done. Y'all know what I give over here, okay? So don't come for me. Professor Blockout said he prayed for you, boo. Oh my goodness. Professor, he got to get, look, he needs something between him and me because I be listen, if I'm telling you. Oh my goodness. But y'all, we got to do something, okay? So this is, when I say the mediocre CISO, all of us have the potential to become a chief information security officer. And some of us may want to do that, all right? Well, you got to start now. What's your position right now? Whatever your position is right now, you got to start now. I need you to start thinking like a CISO right now. Now, not thinking like a hacker. No, I need you to think like a chief information security officer. And that is going to require you to know what these people out here doing, okay? But you can't stop there. You gotta think like a CISO. That's what I need you to think like. I need you to think like what it says in this theory. Let me read this for you again. What the theories say is needed for crime to occur. This is what's needed now. Number one, actually, let me pull it up here. I ain't gonna read off the paper. Let me just show you. Again, this is what I need you to do. For a crime to occur, the theory says you need a motivated offender, a target, and you need the absence of capable guardian. I need you to start thinking like a capable guardian. That's what needs to happen, okay? And if you're gonna be able to interrupt, all of this is like, I was giving Dr. Phillips the other day, I was talking about a hurricane, how a hurricane forms, what's needed, right? You need like warm water, moist air, and heat or something like that. Okay, there's like 3 things that are needed. If any one of those things is absent, just one, or is interrupted in any way, you ain't got no hurricane. It's just not gonna happen, okay? That's like the laws of nature, all right? CISO, I'm talking to you. If right now you're in a position that is not a CISO position, but you're gonna be, I'm still talking to you right now. You need to interrupt these things, okay? You need to interrupt motivated offender, some kind of way you need to interrupt that. Target all the stuff going on with it now, and that's why I had change agents in there, because I break all this down, all right? You need to interrupt one or more of these things so that crime cannot happen on your system, or all the other things that we have in the risk thing, right? Something needs to happen, and it can't just be what we've been doing for the past however many years we've been doing it. All right. The easiest, let me see, what I talked on here about, what was it called again? What did I call that again? Like there's certain things that you can do to leverage change. If you're trying to make a change, some kind of change in your life, okay? There's like a hierarchy of changes that you can make, okay? You can make physical changes, like you can, like let's say you keep hitting your foot on that little metal thing on the bed or something, okay? You need to make a change. Let it stop happening. So you can stop being in pain every time you got to walk to your bed, right? So you can make a physical change, right? You can like buy them plastic things or something, or wrap something around, whatever, you make a physical change, okay? Now, that's like low level stuff. We can make changes like that. We can make physical changes, okay? We could put locks on doors, and we could do all these physical, controls and all that, right? Those are easy to make, but they don't have a whole lot of, they don't make a whole lot of difference, okay? They make some, but it don't take a lot to overcome that. Okay, if somebody's trying to really get at you, it doesn't take a lot to overcome that, right? So the physical stuff, that's like the lowest level. It's easiest to do, but it makes the least amount of difference. Okay. The hardest to do, but something that makes, a gargantuan difference. Exponential, just off the chain. But it's the hardest to do, is to think differently. It's called paradigm shift. It's the hardest to do, but it makes the most change. Okay, that's what I'm talking about here. You got to overcome ignorance. It's going to take a cognitive shift. Okay, a cognitive shift. We talk a lot about, I'm not talking about knowledge. That's not a cognitive shift. Okay, just knowing something you didn't know before is not a cognitive shift. No. Okay, it's much, much more than that, right? And we don't do enough of that. We don't do enough of that in training, period. Okay, but you want to be able to. It's like these high, very, very high level executives that get golden parachutes and stuff. When stuff goes on, and they don't look for jobs. Okay, people look for them. They have headhunters looking for these kinds of people. These people never on Indeed. They don't put their resume out. None of that. Okay, people just looking for them. All right, because they can go anywhere. Anywhere. It don't matter. He could be the head of the Walmart Corporation this year. Next year, be the head of GM. Okay, two different things, products, two different missions, all that, and just be super successful in both. Why are they able to do that? How is that even possible? Okay, they ain't got no certification in car manufacturing or hamburger making. Okay, but how are they able to do that? Okay, there are certain cognitive abilities that you need to have. You need to be able to think a certain way and be pliable enough, all right, to apply what needs to be applied here, okay, and know that that's not going to work over here. I need to do something else over here. You have to be brave enough to be able to do that, okay? I told you when I did the interview with Keep It Techie, one of the things that we learners need to do is get some courage, okay? Learning takes courage, okay? It don't take somebody, you know, looking at a new PowerPoint slide for 2 hours or whatever. No, no, no. It takes courage for you to learn, for you to really learn something. It does. Because when you really learn something, that means you cannot learn what you already know. That's number one, okay? For you to be able to learn something new, something is going to have to be unlearned, okay? For you to incorporate something out. And that's a scary proposition. I know. It really is. It really is. But if you're going to be able to interrupt any of these things, okay, you're going to have to develop the courage to be able to do it. All right. I'm not telling you anything that I read. I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what I know. Okay. All right. What else I got going on over here? All right. That's all I got for y'all today. So I just want you to leave with as I mentioned the last time, cyber professionals, we have a role to fulfill. Nobody's going to do it except us, okay? The criminals ain't going to do it. The people, you know, in the digital world who really know very little about the digital world, they're not going to do it. They don't know how. So who's going to do it? Okay? If you're here, okay, to be that guardian, like the theory said, okay, if you're here to be that guardian, then be that guardian because nobody else is going to do it. All right. That's all I have for y'all. Now, y'all listen to me. There is, I'm going to post another video. And the question is going to be, where is the black on black crime in cyberspace? Did you hear my question? Where is it? Because we claim it's in the analog world, okay, which is totally ridiculous. Okay, it's a whole political statement. Crime has everything to do with proximity. Okay, so don't do that. All right, but we're going to talk about that. But we're going to talk about, and this is a continuation of what I showed you tonight with that threat matrix that I'm building. Okay, we're going to look at that in a little bit more detail to find out who are the actual threats. Okay, who are they really in cyberspace? All right, because we're not getting it. The threats are not just you know, malicious actors and malware and, you know, whatever that other stuff was on that chart. Okay, we're missing a whole. I mean, we're just missing all kind of stuff. And again, it's not because we don't know it's there. It's because we're ignoring the fact that it's there. We're ignoring the fact that it's there. Okay. The question that a lot of CISOs need to answer is, what are you pretending not to see? That's the question. Because with that answer, you're going to get, you know, you're going to get a much broader picture of what's going on. And when you have a much broader picture of what's going on, you have broader opportunities to solve these problems. Okay. Broader opportunity to solve the problem. So we don't want it to be a fight between regulation and innovation. We don't want that. And that's what it seems to be right now. It seems like the CISO can either follow regulation or be innovative. It doesn't have to be that way. Okay. It really doesn't. And we're going to talk about that the next time. All right. Thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you, Ayana. Thank you, Professor Black Ops. Thanks to you in the clouds right now who didn't drop down. So if you are not yet a subscriber, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel because you want to be here, okay, for the next video, I promise. And I will see you all next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.